A warm welcome to the Leader in You Deep Dive. We have another fantastic topic lined up for you today. Don't go anywhere. Let's learn.
Before the day takes hold, a silent whisper stirs a story waiting to unfold. You've carried burdens, doubts like shadows heavy on your mind, but a strength you've always harbored now is rising to define.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're tackling something huge: how organizations and leaders actually achieve excellence, and maybe even harder, how they keep it going.
Yeah, it's a constant challenge, isn't it? And for this deep dive, we're looking at a couple of really interesting sources. We've got insights from a summary of A Passion for Excellence, the big follow-up by Tom Peters and Nancy Austin to In Search of Excellence.
A classic.
Right. And we're pairing that with a more recent article, Leadership Lessons from the Bear Part 3. Should chasing excellence be non-negotiable? Which brings a really different kind of tense perspective from that TV show.
Okay, so the plan is unpack what excellence even is, according to Peters and Austin, look at the leadership needed to make it happen, and then really dig into that tension from the Bear article, like, is demanding perfection always the way to go?
Exactly. A Passion for Excellence is packed with real-world examples, focusing on innovation, always improving, and crucially, empowering the people doing the work.
So starting there, what's the essence? What is excellence according to that book?
Well, the big takeaway for me is that it's not just about, say, having the best product or the highest sales in one area. It's presented as much more holistic.
Holistic, meaning on
all the different parts of the organization need to be working together, like in harmony. It's not just one department hitting it out of the park.
Right, the whole system.
Exactly. And they're very clear. It's not a final destination you reach. It's described as an ongoing journey. You never really arrive at excellence permanently.
Which makes intuitive sense, The world doesn't stand still.
Yeah.
So it has to be about constant improvement.
Constantly, yeah. Continuous improvement is baked in. And delivering exceptionally well across the board from your core offering to every little customer interaction.
Okay, so if it's this ongoing holistic thing, who makes it happen?
Yeah.
Leadership, I assume.
It absolutely starts and is sustained by leadership. The book points to some key traits, things like authenticity, transparency, being willing to take smart risks.
Then having that vision, right?
Yeah.
Knowing where you're going. But also, you mentioned adaptability.
Yes, vision and adaptability. You need the direction, but also the flexibility to shift when, reality bites.
That makes sense.
And a really crucial one is fostering a culture of real commitment. Not just compliance, but genuine dedication.
How do leaders do that?
It's about creating that environment where people feel truly valued, respected, empowered to actually contribute.
So the leader sets the tone. They model it.
They have to. The book talks about leaders who are big on communication, who really invest in developing their people, and who stick to their values, even when it's tough. You see different styles, right? Like Steve Jobs at Apple, that intense focus driving innovation.
Right, almost legendary.
Or someone like Herb Kelleher at Southwest, who was all about employee engagement, fun, but also incredible operational efficiency. Very different vibes, but both built cultures where people were deeply committed.
Okay, those are powerful examples. Now let's pivot to the Bear article. It brings in this tension, this question about whether chasing excellence has to be non-negotiable.
Yeah, it uses the show as a sort of case study. You've got Chef Carmy bringing his high-end background to this struggling family restaurant, The Beef.
And he imposes these strict rules, right? Like over 24 non-negotiables?
Exactly. His aim is clearly performance, excellence. He wants to transform the place through precision and discipline.
But how does that land with the staff?
Well, the article describes it as mixed. At first, maybe some confusion and curiosity, but pretty quickly it leads to major friction. Carmy himself gets pushed to the edge, and the staff are basically ready to revolt.
Wow. So the non-negotiable approach backfires.
In that context, yeah, it highlights the potential downsides of that kind of rigid top-down demand, even if the goal is excellence.
It's tricky, though, because sometimes a strong, clear vision does unite people, doesn't it? Like the examples the article mentions, Davey Martinez with the Nationals, Let's Go One Zill Today, or JFK's Moonshot.
Yeah.
That kind of push can be incredibly motivating.
Absolutely. It can inspire, especially when you've got motivated, skilled people who buy into the vision. And the author admits they were initially drawn to that intensity, even citing that Lombardi quote.
Perfection is unattainable. But if we chase perfection, we can catch excellence.
That's the one. But then the author reflects on their own coaching experience, seeing the other side workplaces becoming toxic because everyone's terrified of mistakes, or it fuels unhealthy competition and egos, all justified in the name of excellence.
Okay, that's a really important counterpoint. So the article digs into when those non-negotiable rules might actually work.
Yeah, it suggests they fit best in situations where precision is absolutely critical and the stakes are incredibly high. Think surgery or maybe certain types of crisis response. Places where there's a well-understood right way and deviation is dangerous.
Okay, very technical, high-risk areas.
Right. But for work that's more creative, or when you're navigating something totally new where the old playbook doesn't apply,
Then maybe not so much.
that's the argument. Creativity often needs space for exploration, for trying things, for, frankly, failing and learning from it. That's really tough under a rigid, non-negotiable system.
So what's the alternative leadership approach in those creative or uncertain situations?
The article suggests shifting the focus. Instead of non-negotiable rules for the outcome, the non-negotiable becomes learning.
Learning is non-negotiable. Interesting.
Yeah, it changes the whole dynamic. It encourages collaboration because the assumption is nobody has all the answers. Success and failure become shared responsibilities.
How do you even start building that?
The article suggests you start by creating space for people to actually voice what's getting in the way. What obstacles are stopping them from succeeding or trying new things.
Getting it all out on the table.
And there's this great image used, finding a guinea pig, a person or team willing to bring a real problem they're facing to a group.
Like putting a car up on the lift for everyone to look at?
Exactly. And they genuinely ask for help for different perspectives. It requires a lot of trust, obviously, vulnerability from the person sharing, and constructive input from the group.
That sounds like a very different way to chase excellence. More bottom up.
Completely. It's about collective learning and problem solving rather than just top-down mandates. And it leads the author to say, you know, that famous Lombardi quote, maybe it's inspiring, but the way we chase perfection, that's become negotiable for them.
That's a powerful shift in thinking.
Yeah.
Okay, let's loop back to a passion for excellence. We talked about the holistic view, leadership. What about innovation and continuous improvement? How central are they?
Absolutely central. They're presented as key pillars for maintaining excellence. You can't just get good, you have to keep getting better and finding new ways.
So how do organizations actually do that? How do they build that culture?
Well, it starts with leadership again, setting that tone, making it clear that new ideas are welcome, even encouraging out-of-the-box thinking, and, crucially, making it safe to take risks.
Safe. Meaning failure isn't punished harshly.
Right. Failure is reframed as a learning opportunity. And empowerment is key here, too. Giving people ownership often sparks creativity. Think of 3M's 15% time, letting engineers work on passion projects. That led to things like Post-it notes.
Wow. And continuous improvement is the other side of that coin, like the everyday small steps.
Exactly. It's about constantly looking for those incremental enhancements. Having systems to identify areas for improvement, test solutions, and make those small changes stick. It's like that Japanese idea of Kaizen, always striving for change for the better.
And none of this happens without the right people, right? The book emphasizes that.
Hugely. People are called the cornerstone. Attracting talent, training them well, and crucially keeping them is fundamental.
So attracting talent,
Yeah.
it's more than just money.
Oh, yeah. A compelling vision, a culture people want to be part of that's huge. Think about why people flock to places like Google or Apple. Yes, the pay is good, but it's also the mission, the dynamic environment. People need to see how their goals align.
And once they're in, training.
Continuous learning is vital. Good organizations invest in it, workshops, mentoring, maybe giving people chances to work across different teams. It builds that growth mindset. GE's Crotonville Center was famous for its intense leadership development.
Okay, attract, train, then retain.
Yeah.
How do you keep good people from leaving?
Engagement and motivation, simple as that, but hard to do well. It means recognizing contributions, making people feel genuinely valued and heard. Regular feedback, clear paths for growth, celebrating successes, all of it matters. Southwest Airlines comes up again here, known for creating that supportive, encouraging atmosphere.
And empowerment seems tied into all of this.
Absolutely. Empowered employees take ownership, they bring ideas, they're more committed. It means breaking down some of those old hierarchies, making sure voices are heard. It boosts productivity, sure, but it also just makes the culture stronger.
So building the team is never really done. It's constant work.
Always. Strategic talent management, always evaluating, always adapting.
Okay, so we have the people and the culture.
Yeah.
What about the actual operations? The book talks about operational excellence too.
Yes, it's another key piece of the puzzle. It's about designing systems and processes that reliably deliver value and do it efficiently without wasting resources.
Right, getting the engine running smoothly. How do you achieve that?
Process improvement is a big part of it. Looking hard at how work actually gets done and finding ways to eliminate waste.
What kind of waste?
Well, there are formal methods like lean thinking, Six Sigma, TQM. Lean focuses on cutting out anything that doesn't add value, like making too much stuff, moving things unnecessarily, defects, waiting time, excess inventory.
Okay.
Six Sigma is more about reducing errors and variability. TQM is a broader philosophy about everyone being involved in quality and incremental improvement.
So it requires really questioning how things are done.
Constantly. Just because we've always done it this way doesn't mean it's efficient. Streamlining steps, using data to see where holdups are, redesigning workflows. It's that continuous improvement mindset again, but applied to the actual mechanics of the work.
Got it. Now shifting outwards, customer intimacy. What does that mean in the context of excellence?
It means really truly understanding your customers on a deep level. Not just demographics, but their needs, their preferences, what frustrates them, what delights them. Maybe even anticipating needs they haven't articulated yet.
How do companies get that deep understanding?
Through active effort, really listening to feedback, formal surveys, yeah, but also social media, frontline staff interactions, market research that digs deeper, engaging regularly, building relationships, not just transactions.
And that leads to better customer service.
Exceptional customer service, ideally. Not just fixing problems, but creating positive, memorable experiences every time someone interacts with you. It builds trust, builds loyalty, and the book stresses this needs to be everyone's job, not just a department. A customer-first mindset.
So training everyone on that.
Yeah.
Incentivizing it.
Exactly. And using that understanding to personalize things where possible. Technology helps gather data for that, but the human touch, that genuine connection, is still critical.
Trust and integrity must be foundational here.
Absolutely non-negotiable. Being transparent, communicating clearly, doing what you say you'll do. That's how you build lasting relationships where customers become advocates.
And I guess that customer insight feeds back into innovation too.
Definitely. Customers tell you, directly or indirectly, what needs improving or what new things they might want. It's a vital input loop.
Okay, so we've got all these pieces. Holistic view, leadership, people, operations, customers. But the world keeps changing. How do you sustain excellence when everything's in flux?
Adaptability and resilience. Those are the keys, according to the source. Adaptability means watching trends, being agile, being ready to pivot. Leaders need to foster that openness to change, encourage experimentation, make it okay to learn from missteps.
And resilience, that's about bouncing back.
Yeah, weathering the storms, economic downturns, new competitors, disruptions, and coming out strong. That's built on things like transparent communication, solid risk management, and staying true to your core values even when things are tough. Good training and a sense of we're in this together also help people handle adversity.
And that continuous improvement habit is crucial for just keeping up, let alone leading.
Essential. Always reviewing, refining, seeking feedback. Staying close to customers is vital too, because their needs change so fast. You need that dialogue.
Technology must play a role here too.
Increasingly so. Using new tools to streamline things, connect better with customers, get better data, but that requires a culture that's willing to learn and invest in new ways of working.
So sustaining it is, well, it's an ongoing commitment itself. It has to be baked into everything.
Exactly. It's not a project. It's how you operate day in, day out. Leaders have to constantly reinforce it.
Okay, so pulling it all together, a passion for excellence gives us this really rich picture of what it takes: the leadership, the people focus, the customer connection, smooth operations, constant innovation.
Right, a whole framework. But then the Bear article comes in and makes us pause and think about how we chase it. It really questions if that top-down, rigid, non-negotiable demand for perfection is always the right way, especially when you need creativity or learning.
It suggests maybe a different path, more collaborative, focused on learning together.
Exactly. That maybe the way you pursue excellence matters just as much as the goal itself. How you treat people, the culture you build along the way, that has a huge impact.
Which leaves us, and you listening, with a really interesting question to ponder. In your world, what does chasing excellence actually look like? Is it about those hardline, non-negotiable standards? Or is it more about cultivating a space for learning, collaboration, and continuous shared improvement?
In the quiet of the morning, before the day takes hold, a silent whisper stirs a story, waiting to unfold. You've carried burdens, doubts like shadows, heavy on your mind, but a strength you've always harbored now is rising to define. No more hiding in the corners, no more playing small. There's a purpose deeply calling. Hear it stand up tall. Feel the tremor deep inside your soul. A sleeping giant ready to take control. Awaken vision, let your spirit rise and ignite. Be the beacon, lead them forward into the light. The path ahead may twist and turn with challenges unseen, but every step you take now shows the leader you have been. For inspiration lives within you, a compass strong and true, to guide not just your own direction, but to light the way for a few. No more hiding in the corners, no more playing small. There's a purpose deeply calling. Hear it stand up tall. Feel the tremor deep inside your soul. A sleeping giant ready to take control. Awaken vision, let your spirit rise and ignite. Be the beacon, lead them forward into the light. It's not about the crown you wear or titles you acquire. It's the heart you bring to service, setting every soul on fire. With empathy and courage, a vision clear and bright, you don't just walk the journey, you illuminate the night. Feel the tremor deep inside your soul. A sleeping giant ready to take control. Awaken vision, let your spirit rise and ignite. Ignite the beacon, lead them forward into the light, into the light. The leader in you rising, guiding them forward into the light.